It's August 28th, 2018, and that's right, we're talking about trains. Steam locomotives, diesel locomotives, electric locomotives, gas turbine locomotives. What do they all have in common? Did you just say locomotives? They are all successors to this little guy, Tom Thumb, the first American-built steam locomotive. Back in the early days, railroads were more or less just tracks put on the road. I presume that's where the name railroad came from. I can't support that statement though. On these first railroads, horses pulled wagons and carriages with their wheels modified to ride on these rails. Now, yes, the first steam locomotives were first built in England, but that's not why we're here. We're here to talk about Tom Thumb, the first American-built locomotive. America. Tom Thumb was designed by Peter Cooper as a four-wheeled locomotive. Tom Thumb had a vertical boiler that produced steam and drove vertically mounted cylinders. These cylinders then drove the wheels for motion. Tom Thumb was a real Johnny Cash, one piece at a time locomotive.
And it wouldn't cost me a dime.
As the design was a host of improvisations. The boiler tubes, for example, were made of rifle barrels, and the blower was mounted in the stack, driven by a belt connected to the wheel axles. Cooper's interest in locomotives wasn't really a work of passion, it was more of a means to an end. Cooper had purchased 3,000 acres of land, and while developing his land, he discovered his property was rich in iron ore. Now, he wasn't no dummy. He knew that this ore could be used to build iron rails, so he founded the Canton Iron Works in Baltimore. And when the railroad developed technical problems, he put together Tom Thumb to prove that steam locomotion was the way of the future.
Well, duh.
Because he knew success in the railroad would increase the values of his holdings. He made rails. Kind of go hand in hand. Tom Thumb was constructed in the machine shop of George W. Johnson, where the 18-year-old James Milholden was apprenticed. Fun fact, James would go on to become a prominent locomotive designer in his own right. After Tom Thumb was constructed, Cooper needed a way to prove its worth. It was new. Nobody knew what it was. They're like, horsies. And on August 28, 1830, he would get his chance as the owners of the Stockton Company, a local stagecoach, passenger, and freight service, challenged the new locomotive to a race. The race was simple. Tom Thumb and a horse would pull an equal load down a set of parallel tracks. When the race started, Tom Thumb was able to pull ahead easily, leaving the horse in the dust. And it looked like it was going to be a clear victory for this revolutionary new steam locomotive. However, as Tom Thumb pulled away, a belt slipped off the blower pulley, not allowing the boiler to pull air adequately, and the locomotive lost power, allowing the horse to eventually whoop right on by. That didn't matter though, because the onlookers knew that steam locomotion offered superior performance over the horse. After the race, the railroad committed to use steam locomotion and held trials the very next year for a working engine that could be used on future steam locomotives. Sadly, because this locomotive was not intended for service, it wasn't preserved and eventually lost to time. But using a detailed description, a replica was built and remains on display at the Baltimore and Ohio Railroad Museum. Hey, as always, thank you for watching. If you liked this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up and leave a comment down below. And maybe go check out some of the past week's days in tech history. Also, go ahead and get subscribed because this doesn't work without you. We need you. Go ahead and get subscribed. You won't miss any future videos. Also, we'll see you in the next one.